What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have for you 10 strength exercises we love to use with our volleyball athletes. So hopefully you enjoy this video. We got a mix of lower and upper in here. So if you enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure you subscribe to catch all of them. Hope you enjoy. Number one, we're going landmine. So this one is fantastic. One of my favorite ways to build upper body strength. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll see we do this one quite a bit with our athletes when we're trying to build that upper body. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be in a tall kneel. I like this because it really works the upper body. Keep your core and your trunk really tight, right? We're not hunching or anything like that. No extension in the low back. What we're gonna do is we're gonna press it up and then we're gonna lower it with one. We'll press it up, lower it with one. So this really works that eccentric portion, lowering the overload of it, because as we know, in order to build some good strength, overloading is very important, and then it allows that double to press. So isolating that unilateral overload, incorporating some trunk control landmine is really good for volleyball. It's safe. You get that horizontal with a little bit of vertical at that 45. Fantastic for the shoulder, fantastic for the rotator cuff, controlling, building up strength in the back to control. So this one's awesome. Number two, we're sticking to upper body. We're going a gorilla row. So you're gonna get two kettlebells. Ideally, they're gonna be the same height and the same weight. Ours are a little off, but it does trick. So we're gonna be here. We're gonna have both hands on the kettlebells. Make sure you guys see how I get my hips down, right? I'm here, I'm not gonna be here. Hips stay down, core stays tight. Try to get a good squeeze in the back. Open up your chest a little bit. And I'm gonna go keeping one hand on one kettlebell. The other one, I'm gonna row, right? So I'm here, row up, down, alternate. So I'm working on expanding my chest as I row, working my back. So that rotation, opening up is very important and very good for the back. As you guys can see with these two upper body exercises, a big goal is building up our back strength, supporting our shoulders. So this one's cool. Number three, we have some lower body. We're going a barbell split squat. You don't need a barbell. You can also do this with a dumbbell, trap bar, honestly, pretty much anything. I love a split squat because it's unilateral in nature. The biggest thing that I want you guys to focus on, I hear a lot of different stuff about split squats. Drive with your front leg, right? I'm gonna be down. This leg is driving. Really utilize your glute. One thing I'll tell people is pretend you have a butt pocket and you're trying to just drop it straight down into your heel, right? Don't worry about shifting back and forth too much. So we're gonna hit that same thing, but we're going bar on the back, just right here. Like I said, we're driving through that front leg, down, up, drive it up fast. Core stays really tight. I love this exercise so much. Volleyball is a big unilateral sport, right? We gotta produce power, produce lots of force on each leg. This one's also really good for stability. So I love this. You can go front squat as well. Sometimes I'll be careful with volleyball in a front load if it hurts their wrist, right? You wanna be really careful with that. But if they're good with front squats, that's really great, especially for trunk stability, keeping your trunk upright, vertical force production. This one's great. Number four, we're going to back squat. I know this might sound very generic and boring, and it's like, hey, come on, give us some fun stuff. Don't sleep on the basics. I'm telling you, the basics and the simple exercises make all the difference. Do not get caught up on what you see on social media and all of that crap. Stick to what works. Back squat's one of the best exercises we can do for lower body strength, building up trunk stability, just working on vertical force, working on being strong during the load. And this transfers so freaking well to jumping, all right? Obviously, I'm not gonna go over the correlation, but as we know, as we've seen over and over and over, back squat has a high correlation rate to vertical jump. Obviously, jumping is very important for volleyball. So I'll run you guys through real quickly. Bar on the back, good position. We're gonna go all the way down and up, right? No little half reps or anything like that. We're going down, we're getting strong, we're putting some load on. The biggest thing, this is a huge takeaway that you'll hear me say repeatedly, As you're standing, you have to have the intent to stand fast. Even if you have a lot of load on there and you can't actively stand fast, it's all the intent to explode up, be strong in the bottom, and this one's gonna be huge for you. Number 5, we are going a med ball soccer toss. So I was torn which med ball exercise I wanted to pick. I know I could probably just say med ball exercises, but I wanted to get you one in particular. So we're going a soccer toss, and the reason I chose this one is because it is great working on this ability. Building up the back, the shoulders. There's this fly that is pissing me off. Build up the shoulders, the back, right? It's so important to have strong rotator cuffs that can support in volleyball. You're going really freaking fast over and over and over with that arm going down. So your back has to be able to support that, has to be able to decelerate when you go. When you're blocking, right? You have to be strong. You have to be able to have that ball hit you and not let everything go loosey-goosey. So a couple things we can do. We can go a tall kneel, right? So like we're down here, core stays tight. We're gonna load it, and then we go in. We can go a half kneel right here. We can even go standing, right? Square stance. Load it, launch it. We can go split stance, but the goal is to let this thing fly. I will say one of the biggest things is don't go crazy heavy. I like it light, especially overhead, and make sure your form stays really strict. If you don't do a soccer toss, we can do just a generic slam, right? One of those, so great. It's that similar motion coming down, builds the back, the shoulders, the rotator cuffs, all that good stuff. Next up, we're going a single leg RDL. Posterior chain, I think, is like the epitome of training. Is so important for performance, right? We have to have a strong posterior chain. I'm talking all the way down, but if we're specifically talking about hamstrings, glutes, we'll go even a calf in there. So very important also for injury prevention. Single leg RDL, we're gonna go a dumbbell today. We can also go landmine, we can also go barbell. That one is some added stability. But what we're gonna do is here, it is your generic single leg RDL. Right here, I hinge over, load it up. Oh God, not like that. Hinge over, load it up. Feel it in my hamstring, in my glute. Once again, I wanna stand up with the intent to go fast. So I keep this dumbbell close to my shin. It's not going out too far in front. I'm not pulling with my back. So many people come in here, and athletes come in here, who are taught to RDL by utilizing their low back. And while that's a supporting muscle for the movement, it is not the primary mover for it, right? We want to be using our hamstring, stretching out our glute, pulling up. This one's great for stability as well. If you have to hold on to start, that's fine, because you don't want stability to become a factor to limit your strength potential. However, you do want to get to the point where you can, be stable as you're being strong. So hitting an RDL, any way you want to do it, is one of the best things you can do. Number 7, we are going a Cossack squat, or you can do anything in the frontal plane. I specifically chose this one though, because this one's also great to work on mobility. And if there's one thing with volleyball, sometimes you got to drop down really fast, right? So if you can have a little bit more mobility, it's gonna help you drop down. It's gonna help you remain, I'll say, intact, right? You don't wanna drop and just be like, oh my God, I'm out of commission, right? You wanna be able to drop and get back up as fast as you can. You gotta get into weird positions. So we're gonna be here, we're gonna squat down. Notice how one leg can lift up as you go, right? Really work that hip mobility. You can hold a load. The biggest thing though, is you wanna make sure that you can keep your chest big, right? You don't want to have to get down here to do it. So make sure that's a big goal. Also as well, if you need to hold on to something to work on that range of motion, you totally can. You can always just go a lateral lunge as well to start. I like foot elevated lateral lunges as well. But yeah, working that frontal plane is very important for volleyball. Number 8, we are going a calf raise overcoming ISO. So I'm gonna do it this way by holding on to our dumbbell rack and a pole. You can also, I think you've probably seen us do it with the bar on our back, racked in the J-hooks. But the goal is you're trying to be on one leg, well, you're gonna be on one leg up here, and you're trying to lift this dumbbell rack, right? If you do it like we do, or if you want to go in overcoming ISO, trying to move something immovable, but you're just trying to really fire up your calf, your lower limb, fire up your foot and your ankle. So we're going to be here as hard as you can. You're going to lift, driving your foot through the ground, right? Isolate your lower limb. This isn't how hard can you pull with your arm. This is how hard can you actively drive your foot into the ground. Very similar to a spring ankle ISO, where I'm here and then driving down. But this one, like I said, this is gonna be more of your typical calf raise. If you also have a calf raise machine, you can hop in there and you can stack it really heavy, try to lift it, single leg, double leg, you can go seated as well. But anything working the lower limb, it's gonna help your springiness, right? So your jump ability, it's gonna help with injury reduction. All these little things really matter. Your quickness, your ability to store and utilize energy. Even if I'm going, I could change a direction. Like I'm here, I'm really strong through my foot, ankle, calf. I can utilize that energy from that braking phase to then pop me out the other direction. So all these little things really matter. You should be working your lower limb definitely a couple times a week. Number 9, we are going a step down. We're going front on. So usually you'll see us do like a side on step down, right? Where we're here, we load, we tap, and then we stand. This time we're going in the front. So I have a pad, you can also put a plate. It's hard for me to go down all the way, so that's why I elevate it. But it's the same idea where my foot is on here. I'm gonna go down, lightly tap, and then stand, right? So this one's pretty challenging. I'm not like the best at these, to be honest, but we gotta be really strong. Down, lightly tap, stand. That one was a lot better. Right here, this one, I'm loading up my glute, I'm loading up my hamstring. This one also is really working my quad, especially towards my knee. Same thing goes, I wanna make sure my foot stays down. I'm not right here, right, traveling super far forward. I'm trying to barely use my foot. I'm not even using my foot, just lightly tap. I love this one because it loads the knee. And we see this a lot with athletes, especially athletes with a higher risk of injury. They don't load their knees often, so their knees can't handle brunt forces, especially with volleyball, with the harshness of jumping and landing and the cuts changing direction. You have to have strength in your knee. Loading your knee is really going to help build up everything here to support it. So don't be scared to load up your knees. All right, we are going a weighted farmer's march. So I love your typical farmer's carry. That one is like iconic. But for this one, we're gonna hold 2 weights, one in each hand. We're gonna come up, hold for a sec, step, and then hit the other side. So core stays really tight. This one makes stability a big challenge because now as you're stepping, right, these weights are coming with you. So it's adding momentum. So now you have to be able to stop your movement with the weight, bring your knee up. Every time, right, your arms are gonna wanna swing as you go. Make sure they don't swing. Be really strong, build up the trunk. We have to have trunk control, oblique strength, especially as we're upright and tall. Doing this is fantastic and it's gonna have a great impact on the court. Last exercise for this video, you guys knew I had to do it. We're going pull-ups. So I think these are fantastic for every single athlete, every single person, especially volleyball, all the reasons we've stated before, the strength in the back, the rotator cuff, all things said and done, building strength throughout the wrist as well, the elbow, right? So we can go, almost tripped. We can go here, right, just that neutral. We can also go wide grip right there if we have that strength. If we can't do that, we can hit something like an inverted row. I'll show you guys real quickly. Unprepared. So we'll be underneath the bar, core stays tight, and then we'll just pull ourselves up. Whoa, something like that. Right, that's more of that horizontal row, but all these are fantastic. Make sure you're getting strong for volleyball. It'll really help you out. So hopefully you enjoy this. Please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.